Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. You may notice that things are a bit different today. The Ziggies are on vacation and I, Murphy, will be your guide. Well, sort of my voice has been AI generated, so it's like I'm here but not here. Don't worry though, I'll make sure to provide you with all the explanations and insights you need, just like the Ziggies do. So let's get started, my friends. Many of you have asked for simpler workflows, so I've created some compact modules and assembled them into smaller workflows for both Flux and SDXL. If there's anything missing that you'd like to see, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and a thumbs up is always appreciated as well. I'm always looking for ways to improve and make things easier for you, so don't hesitate to let me know what you think. To start off, I've created 13 modules that can be divided into 3 categories: easy, multi, and upscale. The easy modules are perfect for those who are new to text to image generation and want to use the ComfyUI interface. The multi modules are great for both image to image and text to image generation, and they can also be used as starting points for adding additional modules. Finally, the upscale modules are designed for easily scaling finished images as requested by one of our viewers. So, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, there's something for everyone in this collection of modules. Just a heads up, I've made a small adjustment to the way the width and height are handled in the modules. Instead of using clip width and clip height, I'm now using width and height directly. This change means that you'll need to calculate clip width and clip height from width and height, rather than the other way around. It's a small change, but it should make things more consistent and intuitive. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can help with. Now that I've given you an overview of the new modules, let's talk about the second major category, SDXL and Flux. I've created workflows for both SDXL and Flux, with 2 different versions for SDXL and separate workflows for Checkpoint, Original, and GGUF models in Flux. This variety should cover most of your needs, but if you find that something is missing, or you have a suggestion for a new workflow, just let me know. My goal is to make text-to-image generation as accessible and user-friendly as possible, and your feedback is essential for helping me achieve that. I know that my language can sometimes sound a bit odd, but I hope you can still understand me better than if I were speaking my Franconian English, and using my AI-generated voice is a first test. The voice generation is running locally on my computer, and for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with the results. The automatic modular ultimate comfy Maschine 2024 workflow, starting from version 2.2, has been updated to make it easier for you to customize. Now, you can simply copy and paste modules into either the easy or multi workflows. This should give you more flexibility and control over your text to image generation, while still maintaining the convenience of the comfy machine. Feel free to experiment with different module combinations and let me know if you come up with something cool. Before I explain each module in detail, let me show you how I grabbed the FaceDetailer module from the Ultimate Maschine workflow. Watch as I demonstrate how to obtain this useful tool for enhancing facial details in your AI-generated images. Simply copy and paste the module into an easy workflow. Quickly add a group and give it an appropriate name. I don't know for sure whether the double-click group tool to edit is switched on by default in the settings. If it doesn't work for you, just switch it on, or rename it the usual way, or leave it as is. Now connect the context nodes from the RG3 nodes and you're good to go. Hold on, the nodes are still pinned. If you've installed the Blibbler ComfyUI extensions, you can simply right-click and select Unpin All Nodes. Or you can now use the P key for multiple selections with Ctrl. Select everything and press P to switch between pin and unpin. So done, now we can combine the noodles and that's it. Move the nodes to the right place. Simply hold down the Control key and drag a trap over them. Then hold down the Shift key and place it with the mouse. Now we just need to tidy up a bit. We don't need the Save option to integrating metadata into the image. If you want to keep the workflow streamlined, simply delete this group. This also works with the large Ultimate Maschine workflow with almost all groups. Alright, let's give it a try. Let's hit the Q prompt button and see if it works. Fingers crossed. It seems to be working just fine. Of course, the prompt has to come from the Ziggies. Who else would want to generate images of such wild characters, right? But look at how the FaceDetailer is doing its job. It's fantastic, don't you think? The Ziggies would probably freak out now, saying bad guy. I, on the other hand, would say that the quality is already really good and the time it takes to create these images is incredibly fast, especially with a 4080 and SDXL. Alright, let's start with the fast groups muter from RG3 nodes. A lot of people have questions about how to set it up. It's a powerful tool that allows you to quickly toggle groups on and off, which can save you a lot of time and hassle when you're working with complex workflows. However, it can be a bit tricky to get the hang of at first. So let's walk through the process step by step. To get started, right-click on the node and select Properties, or even better, open the Properties panel directly. This will give you access to all the settings and options for the node, which you can adjust to suit your needs. Personally, I prefer to control the fast groups muter using group colors, but you can also use match title if you prefer. Here, I've set up 2 different colors. Any group that has one of these colors will appear in the fast groups muter node, allowing you to easily toggle it on and off. This can be a great way to organize your workflow and keep track of which groups are active at any given time. You're probably wondering how to color the group with the correct color. This can be a bit tricky, especially because you have to use the custom color option. Well, while you can technically color groups using other tools, the color may not match perfectly with the RG3 nodes, which means the group won't show up in the fast groups muter list. So make sure you use the custom color option to ensure that everything works properly. As you can see, the group was included, easy if you know how. Let's switch from the workshop, where I keep all sorts of miscellaneous information, to an SDXL AZ workflow. The Flux workflows work in the same way, but they often produce better results, especially for text or perfect hands. However, they do take much longer to generate images and require better hardware. That's why today I'll be demonstrating most things using SDXL in real time, so you can see exactly how it works. There are tons of different seed nodes out there, but I'm going to show you why I think the ones from RG3 are so awesome. These nodes are incredibly versatile and easy to use. No matter what you want to do with your seeds, RG3 has you covered. Whether you want to manually enter your seed, click through different options to generate a new fixed seed randomly or use a permanently changing random seed. It all works seamlessly. And the best part, the use last queued seed option. This allows you to freeze the last random seed that was generated so that it doesn't get recalculated when you hit the queue prompt button again. This is especially useful when working with large workflows, as it allows you to add elements step by step. Let's take a look at the other nodes in the base settings group. The checkpoint selector node is perfect for choosing the desired checkpoint and incorporating its name as metadata into your image. I use the AnySwitch node from RG3 here to automatically select the VAE. It always chooses the first available one. The VAE is taken from the load V node at this point, but if there's no information available there, it moves on to the next one in the sequence. In this case, it would take the VAE from the standard load checkpoint node. Here you can set your sampler settings, steps, refiner steps, which are not used in this workflow, CFFG, sampler, and scheduler. To set the image size, I use the SDXL aspect ratio node from the ComfyUI Studio nodes. Very useful. I just didn't set the upscale factor. Batch size also works with this, but I never actually use it. What means batch size? The batch size setting determines how many images you can generate simultaneously. Keep in mind that generating multiple images at once will take longer. Personally, I prefer to work step by step, which requires a fixed seed, but you can easily freeze it later using the RG3 node. An extra tip for Olivio, a smile. Now you have the option to choose which image you want to continue working on. In my opinion, using the step-by-step method can be just as fast. And if the first image is already satisfactory, why bother waiting for the generation of the other three? Alright, let's switch it back to 1. With clip set last layer, you can change the setting from -1 to -2. Depending on the model you're using, you might even need to adjust it. For example, pony models don't work properly with SILP set last layer set to -1, so changing the value can make a big difference. The Mohawk model works well with both settings. One reason I like to use the RG3 nodes is their ability to collect many values with the context and context big nodes. You can easily pass these values along with a single node and then unpack them when needed. Additionally, you can repack single values back into the whole set. This allows you to keep things organized and easy to follow. Sure, you could use functions to combine entire groups into a single node, but then it would be harder to understand what's happening. Next up are the switch nodes. These nodes allow you to switch between different strands automatically. This works for both the context switch and the AnySwitch, enabling you to switch between individual values. The process is simple, it goes from top to bottom. If there's no input on a 1, it moves to 2, and so on. Just make sure that there's always an input on the last connection. When there's input on all connections, the first one will be forwarded. In the next video, I'll be introducing you to multi-workflows and providing some helpful tips. But in this video, let's focus on 6 easy workflows for text-to-image. These workflows are designed to help you get started with transforming images using various AI tools and techniques. Next up, let's talk about the prompt group. As you can see, There are 2 input fields for the positive prompt and 2 for the negative prompt, each with ClipL and ClipG. I find it unfortunate that this feature isn't discussed more often because for certain models, using different values for ClipL and ClipG can make a significant difference in the generated images. When working with pony models, it's important to note that the positive and negative prompts should be the same. Unlike some other models, pony models do not benefit from using different prompts for ClipL and ClipG. So, when using pony models, make sure to keep the prompts consistent between the 2 fields. I've put together a special pony workflow as part of the multi-workflows, which includes some minor yet effective adjustments. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be providing all of these workflows for download so you can start using them right away. However, I'll also be creating a separate video for each main group to provide more in-depth guidance. Please bear with me, as I can only work on these videos after my regular work hours. Thank you for your patience. Returning to the SDXL Easy workflow, let's focus on these 2 nodes. By using these nodes, you can control which prompt reaches the sampler, allowing you to experiment and see the effects of different prompts. Incidentally, you can also find these nodes in the massive ultimate Maschine workflow. The Ziggies haven't talked about it yet, I think. Now let's talk about the Lora group. I'm a huge fan of Loras, whether they're custom, made or created by the amazing community for everyone to use. However, when you've collected too many, it can be hard to keep track of them all. So I'm going to share some tricks I use to stay organized. First, I sort them into folders on my hard drive. For each Lora model, I create a corresponding image, either automatically in this manner or manually as a JPEG with the same name as the Lora file. This makes it easy to quickly identify each model visually and keep track of them all. To demonstrate the difference, I've reset my settings to the default options. As you can see, finding the right Lora model without the visual aids and proper sorting can be quite a hassle. With this default setup, there are no images to help identify each model, and the sorting doesn't really make sense either. Alright, let's try optimizing the settings of the custom nodes. First, let's take a look at the PISS settings, which include this handy node at the top. Oh no, that's not ideal. With so many Loras, scrolling through them all like this is going to give us sore fingers. Let's reset that setting so we don't have to scroll endlessly to get to watercolor. If we could set this up with the Lora power loader from our G3 nodes, let's just take a look. We can also disable this feature here. Let's see what happens when we do that. Well, that didn't work as expected. It looks like disabling that feature didn't help us achieve what we were hoping for. Alright, Murphy to the rescue. We need to adjust this setting in the easy nodes as well. I'm not sure if this will be a long-term solution, but for now, it's really handy. Since we're using so many different custom nodes, we should always expect that some of them might interfere with each other. Mission accomplished. Now the Loras are sorted into groups with their corresponding images at the top, and we can search for any Lora by name directly at the bottom. That's super convenient. The Lora Power Loader node offers additional functionality for managing Loras. If you're using Loras from Civit AI, you can even display information directly from Civit AI within the node. This is especially useful if you want to ensure that you're using the correct models and associated metadata. Here you have the option to use embeddings directly if you prefer that method. Embeddings can provide an alternative way to define your image. I almost forgot to mention, here you can see the change I also made in the ultimate workflow. This change involves increasing the clip scale by clip width and clip height. I prefer using values of 2 or 4. In many workflows, this aspect is often overlooked, with the standard setting being no increase in value, resulting in the same width and height as the default. By using the math node, the value is automatically calculated, so you don't need to worry about it anymore. You can simply change the factor as needed. Alright, let's take a quick look at the sampler group. In the custom sampler group, I integrated the Lying Sigma sampler node last week. It's relatively new and was also discussed in Olivio's recent stream last Sunday in combination with the ComfyUI detail daemon nodes and Flux. These nodes make it easy to add more detail to your images. I'll provide a link to the original page below the video for your reference. From my tests, I found that the Lying Sigma sampler node provided the best results and was easy to use. Let me show you an example. You can clearly see the effect on the arm, and in the background, a car has appeared that wasn't there before. I've preset some values that work well for SDXL, but feel free to experiment and adjust them as needed. If your image starts snowing or raining flowers, then you know you've gone overboard with the node values. For those interested in learning more about the technical details and background of the ComfyUI detail daemon nodes, you can find comprehensive information on the official GitHub page. This page contains in-depth documentation, discussions, and examples that can help you understand the intricacies of these powerful tools. Moving on to the 2 save groups, let's discuss the Comfort Save group. This group allows you to specify the path, file name, and file format for your saved images. When saving a PNG file, all metadata associated with the image will also be embedded within the file. This ensures that important information remains intact and easily accessible for future reference or further processing. To access this embedded metadata, you can simply use the prompt read node within ComfyUI, or you can utilize the ESD prompt reader outside of ComfyUI. The second save group offers slightly better performance, especially when processing the first image. While you can still define the file name and file path with this group, it does not allow for embedding metadata within the saved images. This trade-off may be worthwhile when prioritizing speed over retaining detailed information about the image generation process. Here's a comprehensive package containing all the current workflows, which should all be functional. Murphy's Pastel Box isn't an actual workflow, but rather a diverse collection of useful tools. The large Ultimate Maschine workflow is also included, complete with some additional optimizations. For easy access, I'll be uploading the entire package to Civit AI for everyone to download and enjoy. Once the video is released, you can expect to find the package available for download under version 2.21 or higher. To wrap things up, I'll run each workflow once as a test, play around with the models and prompts, and record the process for those who are interested in watching. If you'd like to sit back and enjoy the show, feel free to do so. I would appreciate it if you could give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It's free after all. Until next time, farewell and have fun. Just a quick heads up. Due to the demands of using Flux and recording video simultaneously, my computer tends to struggle a bit. To keep things moving along smoothly, I'll be focusing on SDXL variants for the majority of the demonstration. But don't worry, I'll still share some cool images created using the Flux workflows at the end.